Democrats in Congress are slamming the Supreme Court's ruling in the birthright citizenship case. Our next guest, Democratic Congressman Jamie Raskin, wrote on X, eager to soothe Trump's wounded ego, the Supreme Court ended nationwide injunctions. Trump is crowing, but this just means we'll take our smashing wins in 4 district courts and turn them into wins in 94 district courts. People born here are citizens, period. Ranking member on the House Judiciary Committee, Congressman Jamie Raskin, joins us now. Congressman, let's just start out with that tweet. Can you talk about your strategy?
Well, of course, this decision creates lots of problems for us in terms of other executive orders and other lawless actions of the administration. But in terms of the birthright citizenship case itself, we have won in 7 courts, 4 federal district courts, 2 with Republican judges, 1 Reagan and 1 Bush, 2 Democratic judges, 1 Obama and 1 Biden appointee. And then we won in 3 appeals courts. So we're batting 1,000 here on this case. The Reagan judge said this was blatantly unconstitutional. It was the most unconstitutional executive action he'd ever seen and the easiest case he'd ever had to deal with in 4 decades on the bench, right? Which is why they're running away from the merits, the substance of this decision. And the court shamefully played along with a hide-and-go-seek strategy of saying, oh, well, there's a procedural problem, which is these district courts overstepped their equitable jurisdiction. And so they reinterpreted the Judiciary Act of 1789 to say for the first time that courts could not decide beyond the literal parties to the case. And, of course, that defeats the whole idea of equitable jurisdiction. Equity means you fit the remedy to the nature of the constitutional violation. And here the violation is one that applies obviously all across the country, which every judge has seen. But so they decided to hem in the courts. On that, we're going to look at class action lawsuits, nationwide class action, because, of course, the government is saying, oh, well, if there's a problem, just go with a nationwide class action. Watch them try and stop a class action and get the class decertified. Watch them challenge it on every ground. They don't want this case heard on the merits, and that's what's so shocking, that the Supreme Court would allow this to drag out when we've had birthright citizenship in America since 1868. But in terms of going forward, look, there's different ways that you could shuffle the deck. If you want to say that in order to get a nationwide injunction, you should have to go to a special court. We use 3-judge panels for lots of stuff. Let's have a 3-judge court that just deals with nationwide injunctions, and then anybody can go to that, and we'll see that we've got fair-minded judges and not just partisan hacks who are put on it. And then you fast-track it to the Supreme Court. How about that? We can deal. But this is just chaos that they've unleashed in the judicial system for no reason at all.
Congressman, given that class action certification is not easy, not necessarily a silver bullet, and then given the kind of patchwork legal framework that many experts believe we're now going to be looking at across the country, do you believe that this decision is going to create a kind of 2-tiered to America's system?
Well, I would certainly be preferring to live in a state that has an attorney general who will go to court to challenge and defeat unconstitutional executive actions and executive orders by the president, because, if you're in Maryland, great. We know that we have an attorney general who's going to fight every step along the way. Right now, there are 199 preliminary injunctions and temporary restraining orders that have been set down by courts across the land against this reign of lawlessness and authoritarianism. But you need to have an attorney general, especially after this opinion, go in to represent all of the people of the state. That's what in parens patriae means, to represent all of the people in your state behind you. But if you've got some, right-wing Republican AG in a red state who's not going to stand up for you, then you're going to have a lot of rights taken away. Rights of federal workers are going to be taken away. Medicaid rights are going to be taken away. Federal lands, you name it, environmental orders, until we can get it to the Supreme Court. But of course, what will happen is we'll be winning in federal district courts where we have AGs who are willing to bring the case, where we've got public interest groups who can do it. And the administration won't appeal the decision. They'll just say, OK, we're struck down in Maryland, we're struck down in California, or Michigan or Wisconsin, but we don't mind having it in the rest of the country. That obviously completely collides with the idea of a rule of law and a constitution that applies equally. And it's not fair to people who live in red states who still want their civil rights and civil liberties. It's basically the situation that women are in those states in terms of having their abortion rights and their reproductive freedom taken away. And so we got to make sure that people can at least travel between the states, and that the privilege and immunity of the constitutional right to travel is maintained during this horrible period.
Congressman, does it strike you as odd that the justices on the Supreme Court have essentially defanged their colleagues in lower courts by saying that they no longer have these powers to rein in illegal or unconstitutional actions that they have historically had, and have utilized not only against Donald Trump, but against Democratic presidents and all sorts of parties? Why do you think it is, I guess, that the Supreme Court has decided to neutralize the power of the judiciary branch?
Well, they're acting to appease Donald Trump's wounded ego. All of his fragile feelings about being struck down on the birthright citizenship order in 7 different courts, 4 district and 3 appellate courts. And so they've decided to snatch the power away, the power of equity, which is all about giving the courts the power they need in order to vindicate the rights of the people. And, the majority opinion by Justice Barrett, I think, didn't recognize what equity actually is. It's allowing the courts to adjust the remedy to the nature of the constitutional violation. So they really put the cart before the horse, and they said, oh, well, we think, these judges are getting too big for their britches here, when, nobody has argued with the substance of any of their rulings and the logic of any of their rulings. It's like my MAGA colleagues in Congress who are saying, we're going to impeach those judges. We're going to impeach Judge Boasberg, who was appointed first to the bench by President Bush. We're going to impeach him. This guy was Justice Kavanaugh's roommate at Yale Law School. We're going to impeach him because he said turn the planes around and give due process to people before they're shipped off to a torturer's prison in El Salvador. They're talking about impeaching judges because they don't like their opinions. The only judges that have ever been impeached in American history, there are only 15 of them, have been impeached for bribery and income tax evasion and kickbacks and political corruption. Now they want to impeach judges for having rendered the correct decision, the incontrovertibly correct decision about all these cases. But they don't want to talk about the merits. They just want to make it more difficult for people to get justice in America.
Congressman, let me ask you really quickly, if I can, before we go, about the startling development last night. The Attorney General, Pam Bondi, firing 3 federal prosecutors who worked on the January 6th investigations and trying to hold people accountable for that attempted insurrection. Your thoughts on that development as someone who has also worked on trying to hold people accountable for January 6th? How worried are you about the message this sends to federal prosecutors and to the rule of law in this country?
Well, it's par for the course with this gangster state administration. They fired more than a dozen very experienced senior federal criminal prosecutors just because they had worked on the January 6th case. And they get assigned to work on the case, but it's like they're contaminated because they actually held people to account for violently assaulting police officers and storming the Capitol and threatening to topple a presidential election in America. It's all part of Donald Trump's fanatical determination to rewrite the history of the 2020 election, which he lost by more than 7 million votes to Joe Biden, 306 to 232 in the Electoral College. And he won in 2024 by 2 million votes, right? And that's supposed to be some kind of sweeping mandate that everybody has to bow down to, and we can't disagree with him. He got beaten by 7 million votes. He didn't even accept the validity and legitimacy of the victory itself. For 4 years, he went around saying it didn't happen, and he continues to lie about it and continue to ruin people's careers because they did their jobs in holding the violent insurrectionists that he incited to account for their crimes.
Congressman Jamie Raskin, thank you so much for joining us this evening for your insights.